Hi, I'm Danielle with D'April Properties, and today I am going to bring you our Wednesday Why. So today is Wednesday Why. I'm going to be focusing on why this market is actually beneficial to both home sellers and home purchasers. So we've heard a lot of talk about why this market is a seller's market. We've seen multiple offers, we've seen homes go well above list price, and what really dictates what kind of market we're in is supply. So I'm going to give you a little snapshot because generally speaking, every market is different. Today I'm going to show you Arlington Heights. So if you look at this graph scenario here, you can see that in the end of last year and beginning of the year in 2019, beginning of 2020, we were in at a previous full year ago, we were in a buyer's market. We had about 8.5 months of inventory in December of 2018. Going into the beginning of 2019, we had 6.5 months of inventory. That would dictate a buyer's market. Now you can see right now, we are coming out of a December that only had 2.5 months of inventory, which is why they call this a seller's market. So based on supply and demand principles, we don't have a lot of houses out there. So with all the buyers entering the market, there's an increase in demand. And that increase in demand for these homes is what's leading to that little bit of inflation in pricing. Now, when we hear that, I feel like I have a lot of buyers that this causes fear in. So they're telling me, well, why would I want to buy now? Why would I want to buy in the top of the market? Well, yes, we're seeing a little bit of, a jump in pricing, but interest rates are historically low. These are all-time lows. And what the buyers are actually saving in their interest rate is almost saving them more than what they would have uppaid for the house, even if we're just comparing right now to last year at this time. And I'm going to welcome John Manglardi from Cross Country Mortgage, who's an amazing lender, and he can explain a little bit about the interest rates and what this means to you as a buyer, how you have a lot of purchasing power right now. So John, go ahead.
Thanks, Danielle. Yeah, I mean, just what we've been seeing in the course of the last year, unfortunately, as a result of COVID, but it is helping for buyers and for those who already own homes that are looking to refinance. It's really driven interest rates down because the economy is just not super strong in general. So how does that translate to how it's going to impact a consumer who's looking to buy a home? Like Danielle had mentioned, if you think you're buying at the top of the market, so compared to a year and a half ago or so, maybe the same home that would have sold for $300,000 is now maybe selling for $315,000. So of course, your mentality is going to go to, well, why wouldn't I just wait for that market to go back down to 300,000 and save the 15 grand? I don't want to overpay by 15,000. And then, of course, what she mentioned, the flip side of that is what interest rates historically have been versus what they are now, and how that impacts both your monthly payment, your affordability, and your buying power, and what your lifelong interest repayment and overall repayment is going to be. So I put together a quick graphic that's a little bit more technologically advanced than Danielle's lovely piece of paper that she just showed us, and I'm going to share it with us here. And essentially, it's going to break down exactly what that looks like in dollars and cents. So if you look kind of here on the left side, this is priced lower at 300,000 versus this at 315. But historically speaking, over the last decade, interest rates were closer to 4. In 2018, they started getting towards 5 or even a little bit above. So that's kind of what's been average over the course of the last decade. And over the last 9 months, they've been relatively at or below 3% for most qualified buyers. So I'm using a 4.25 at the lower price scenario and a 2.99 on the higher price scenario. And what you can see is what that does to your payment. The principal and interest portion at the lower price, but the higher rate's $150 per month more expensive. And then if you look at the really big number, it's total interest paid. And even though you're paying 15,000 less up front, pay 70 grand more in interest over the life of your loan because of that higher interest rate. So again, there's a window of opportunity that is open right now. The market has been slowly starting to uptick a little bit. It's still lower than ever, but while that window's open, we're just simply trying to allow as many of our clients to take advantage of it before we're back to who knows where.
Well, and to keep in mind, and John, you can confirm this, but not only are you saving a monthly payment and over the life of your loan that is well above what we were worried about in purchase price, but that money that you're saving is also going towards your equity. It's not being thrown away in interest. In last year's scenario, that money was being thrown away. That interest is going nowhere. But here, you're actually putting more money towards your principal payment and essentially putting more equity into your home.
Yeah, I mean, so for example, if you chose to pay the same amount per month at 1476 versus 1326 and you overpaid intentionally the extra 150 but at the lower interest rate, so making your payments the same, you would have so much more in extra principal by the time you went to sell your home because you've been overpaying. Even if you didn't overpay, essentially, yes, you're just paying less in overall interest because the rate is just so much lower. You may think 1% is not that big of a difference, but 70 grand is not chump change for most of us.
Neither is $150 a month. Think about
No, not at all.
that. So now I want to, welcome anybody to drop a comment below or a question. And of course, John and I can both be reached confidentially. You can reach out to one of us, both of us. Just know there's no charge to reach out to us at any time to ask questions, find out more about your purchasing power as a buyer or about your market as a seller. And then maybe if you're thinking about selling or not selling, there's also refinancing too with these drop in rates. Again, keeping some more money in your pocket. So I want to thank everybody for joining us today, and we wish you a wonderful Wednesday.
Thanks for having me, and thanks everybody.
Take care.
Bye now.